My name's Eddie, but everyone calls me Ed. I've been driving rideshare here in Miami for about 3 years now, ever since I left the shoe factory up in Gainesville. Life wasn't easy, you know. And with 2 little boys at home, Caleb, who's 8, and Gabriel, who's 5, I had to hustle to make ends meet. My wife Claire always said, "Eddie, you work like a man possessed," and she was right. I'd leave our place in Hialeah around 7 in the morning and wouldn't get back until after midnight, especially on weekends. The late night runs pay better, you know? People coming out of clubs, bars, that kind of thing. The folks from South Beach and Brickell don't mind paying extra for a ride. But let me tell you what happened that Saturday night that turned my whole world upside down. It was around 2:30 in the morning. I was sitting there on Ocean Drive waiting for a ride request to pop up on the app. Miami at night is something else, man. The city lights reflecting off the water, that ocean breeze coming in. Beautiful as hell. I was listening to some reggaeton on the radio, half asleep, when ping, got a ride. Pickup, Collins Avenue, near the South Beach Lighthouse. Drop-off, hotel in Aventura. Price, $18.50. Let's go, I thought, and hit the gas in my silver 2019 Sentra that I financed with blood, sweat, and tears. When I got to the address, it was one of those fancy buildings, you know? Uniformed doorman, little garden out front, rich people stuff. I honked twice, and out came a couple. Man, what an elegant couple. Him, mid-40s, graying hair, sharp navy suit, dress shoes that probably cost more than my monthly salary. Wedding ring on his finger, watch that sparkled from a mile away. Expensive cologne that filled up the whole car. Her, red dress that showed off every curve, high heels, hair flowing down her back, perfect makeup even though it was almost 3 in the morning. Designer purse, jewelry around her neck, a beautiful woman, the kind you look at and think, damn, what a knockout. They got in the back seat making out, cuddled up like 2 teenagers. I greeted them. "Good evening, folks. Heading to the hotel in Aventura, right?" He answered kind of curtly, "That's right, and take your time. We're not in a rush." I thought, look at these lovebirds wanting to enjoy the ride, and I started driving slowly along the coast, heading toward Wynwood. During the trip, they were back there making out, whispering, laughing. I was used to these situations. 3 years of rideshare, man, you see everything. Rich couple going to a motel, drunk executive coming back from the strip club, college kid taking his girlfriend somewhere. Part of the job, but then, when we were passing through Wynwood, she said something that made my blood run cold. "Oh, honey, I'm so thirsty. Stop at a gas station up ahead so I can buy some water, okay?" Boom. That's when my world collapsed. That voice, that way of saying so thirsty, that accent, with just a hint of the South mixed with city. I recognized it immediately. It was Valerie, my sister-in-law, my brother Ronald's wife. Jesus. I almost crashed into a pole. My hands started shaking on the wheel. My heart was racing. Cold sweat ran down my forehead. I looked in the rearview mirror trying to see her face clearly, but it was dark and she had her head down, leaning against the man's chest. It can't be, I was thinking. But the more I listened to her voice, the more certain I became. It was definitely her. I stopped at a station in Wynwood. She got out of the car, and then I saw everything. It was definitely Valerie, the woman I'd known for 8 years, who had lunch at my mom's table every Sunday, who was my son Caleb's godmother, who called Ronald my prince. There she was at 3 in the morning, all dolled up, with another man who definitely wasn't my brother. She bought the water, came back to the car, and when she closed the door, she said, "Thank you, sweetheart. You always take such good care of me," and kissed the man on the mouth. Man, I had to hold myself back from turning around and asking, "Valerie, what the hell are you doing?" But I stayed quiet, pretended I didn't know anyone. Kept driving with my hands shaking, stomach churning, head buzzing with thoughts. My God, now what? What about Ronald? What about her kids? What about the family? When we got to the hotel in Aventura, one of those discreet hotels, you know, the man paid through the app and even gave me a $10 tip. "Thanks a lot, my friend. Have a good night," he said. They got out of the car holding hands and went into the hotel. I sat there for about 5 minutes, trying to process what had just happened. Valerie, my sister-in-law, the family woman, the religious one who posted Bible verses on WhatsApp every day, was cheating on my brother. And worse, I had seen it all. I drove home that morning, thinking about a million things. Should I tell Ronald? Should I pretend I didn't see anything? Did they recognize me? When I got to Hialeah, it was almost 4 in the morning. Claire was sleeping, the boys too. I took a cold shower, trying to cool my head, but couldn't sleep a wink. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, thinking about my brother's face when he'd come home from work the next day, all happy, thinking he had the perfect family. And me there, knowing his wife was running around with another man. Man, if I had known what was going to happen after that night, I would have stopped the car right there in Wynwood, gotten out, pulled Valerie aside and said, "Girl, go home and stop this nonsense." But I didn't do anything. And that was the first of my mistakes in this whole story. Because sometimes, my friend, what we don't say ends up screaming louder than any words. And that night, that damn Saturday night, was the beginning of the end of my family. Sunday morning, I woke up with Claire shaking me. "Eddie, get up, man. Did you forget today's the barbecue at your mom's?" Man, I had totally forgotten. Every first Sunday of the month, the family got together at my mom Nancy's house, right here in Hialeah. It was tradition. Barbecue, cold beer, the kids running around the yard, and everyone together talking nonsense. And Valerie was always there. I took a shower thinking, how am I going to look at this woman today? How am I going to greet her knowing what I know? We got there around 11 in the morning. My mom's house is one of those old ones, you know? Big backyard, mango tree in the back, brick barbecue pit my dad built about 20 years ago. Ronald was already there, grilling the meat, beer in hand, all smiles. "Hey bro, how was the night shift? Make good money?" I almost choked. It was normal, Ronald. Nothing special. Then she arrived. Valerie. Man, she looked like a different person. Hair in a ponytail, no makeup, simple floral dress, flip-flops. The family woman, you know? Nothing like that siren in the red dress from last night. "Good morning, Eddie." "Good morning, Claire," she said, kissing us on the cheek. I brought some stuffing that turned out delicious, and there I was, looking at her and thinking, this woman was grinding on another man 8 hours ago. What drove me crazy was how natural she was. Hugging Ronald, kissing his mouth, sitting on his lap, asking about the kids, who had stayed at their maternal grandmother's house, talking with my mom about coconut candy recipes. She seemed like the perfect sister-in-law. During lunch, I couldn't eat properly. I kept watching her and Ronald. They seemed happy, you know? He'd tell jokes, she'd laugh, he'd compliment her stuffing, she'd get all giddy. "Oh, Ronald, you're silly," she'd say, tapping his arm. And I was thinking, silly as you for not knowing anything, brother. Claire noticed I was acting strange. "Eddie, you're not eating anything. Are you feeling sick?" "No, honey. Just tired. Yesterday was rough." After lunch, the men stayed by the grill drinking and talking. Ronald started talking about work at the petrochemical plant. "Man, this week's going to be crazy. I have to travel to Jacksonville on Tuesday. Stay there until Friday. Boring meetings like hell." I almost spit out my beer. Travel. So she'll be alone all week. "And Valerie doesn't complain about these trips?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Bro, at first she complained, but now she's gotten used to it. She even said she takes advantage to go out with her girlfriends, go to the movies, that women's stuff. Married life is like that, you know? You gotta give a little freedom. What a joke. Meanwhile, Valerie was in the kitchen with the other women, washing dishes, everyone laughing and gossiping. Every now and then she'd look at me and smile. "Eddie, you're so quiet today. You look sleepy, man." "Yeah, insomnia," I replied. When it was time to leave, she came to say goodbye. "Bye, brother-in-law. Take care of yourself, okay? And stop working so much or you'll get sick." And she gave me that little kiss on the cheek, affectionate like she always did. But this time, I smelled her perfume, and it was the same perfume from last night. In the car driving home, Claire commented, "Ronald and Valerie are such a beautiful couple, aren't they? 8 years married and they still look at each other with that newlywed love. May God bless us the same way." I didn't answer. I just thought, if you only knew, sweetheart. During the week, I couldn't get that scene out of my head. Every time I blinked, I saw her in the back seat of my car, kissing another man, moaning softly while he ran his hands through her hair. Who was that guy? How did they meet? How long had this been going on? Where else did they meet? I started noticing details I'd never paid attention to. On social media, Valerie always posted family photos, Bible verses, cake recipes, but for the past few months she'd been posting more selfies, you know? Different hair, more dressed up, careful makeup, and always with those hashtags, living better, realized woman, God in control. What irony, right? I also started remembering some strange things from recent months. Once at my son Caleb's birthday party, she arrived late at the venue, all apologetic. "Oh, sorry, everyone. I had to go to the doctor last minute." Doctor at 6 o'clock on a Saturday evening. Another time, during Mardi Gras, she disappeared from the parade our family was watching together. Said she wasn't feeling well, that she was going home. But the next day, she posted a photo on Instagram at a beach that wasn't here in Miami. "Resting my mind and heart," was the caption. And Ronald, poor guy, always defending her. My wife needs to take care of herself, you know? She's been really stressed with the kids, stressed my ass. She was meeting up with her lover. On Friday, I was driving through Aventura when I passed by that hotel where I'd dropped them off. I slowed down and looked carefully. It was one of those discreet hotels, you know? Simple facade, no flashy sign. The kind of place cheaters choose. I thought about stopping, going in, asking if they were regular customers. But I gave up. What madness, Eddie. Are you going to become a detective now? But man, curiosity was killing me. Because it's one thing to see betrayal happen once. You might even think, it was just a slip-up, a moment of stupidity. But when you start putting the pieces together, when you realize there's a whole scheme set up, then things get serious. And the worst part? I liked Valerie. I always had. She was sweet to my kids, helped my mom at parties, was a caring sister-in-law. But I also loved my brother, who worked like a dog to support his family, who talked about his wife with pride, who was planning to travel with her on vacation. How was I going to destroy all of that? But at the same time, how was I going to pretend I didn't know anything? That Friday night, lying in bed, I made a decision. I was going to investigate a little more, try to find out who that man was, how it all started, and then, depending on what I discovered, I'd decide what to do. Because one thing I already knew, secrets are like time bombs. Sooner or later, they explode. And when it exploded, I wanted to be prepared to deal with the damage. Monday came and I couldn't get that story out of my head. It was becoming an obsession, man. During the day, while doing rides, I kept imagining where Valerie was, what she was doing. And at night, when I got home, I analyzed every one of her Instagram posts like I was a detective. Blessed day. Grateful for everything. Grateful for what, Valerie? For cheating on my brother. Claire was noticing my weird behavior. "Eddie, you've been acting really strange. You're on your phone all the time, not talking properly. Is there some problem at work?" "No, honey, just some hustle stuff. App business." Lie. The problem was I didn't know how to deal with all of this. It was like carrying a weight on my back that I couldn't put down. On Tuesday, I remembered Ronald had said he was traveling to Jacksonville. Perfect, I thought. If there's a scheme going on, something's going to happen now. I decided to make a strategy. I'd cruise around the South Beach and Aventura area during the week, especially at night. It wasn't stalking. It was family investigation, right? Ha! Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday night, I was already giving up, thinking it had just been a coincidence, when ping, got a ride. Pickup, Aventura Mall. Drop-off, medical clinic in Aventura. Strange, I thought. Medical clinic at 10 at night? When I got to the mall, a man came walking toward the car. And man, when I saw the guy, I almost screamed. It was him, the mystery man from Saturday. Same graying hair, same expensive cologne, same elegant posture. But now I could see him clearly. Mid-40s, well-preserved, wedding ring on his finger, expensive business clothes. He got in the car greeting me. "Good evening. We're going to the San Martino Clinic in Aventura." "Know it?" "Yes, sir, I do," I replied, trying to hide my anxiety. During the trip, he answered his phone. "Hello, Maurice here." "Yes, I'm heading there now." "No, it won't take long. I have some tests to review." "Okay, honey, love you. Maurice." Now I had a name. And, more. He was a doctor. Private clinic in Aventura, seeing patients at 10 at night. The guy must be really successful. When we got to the clinic, he paid for the ride and said, "Thanks, partner. Good night." I stayed there parked in front of the clinic for a few minutes, observing. It was a small commercial building, well maintained. On the entrance sign, I read, Dr. Maurice Sampson, Gynecology and Obstetrics. License, number 112345, gynecologist. Things got stranger and stranger. I got home that night with my head spinning. I opened Google on my phone and searched, Dr. Maurice Sampson, Miami. Man, what came up left my jaw on the floor. Dr. Maurice Sampson, 46 years old, graduated from University of Miami, specialized in gynecology, one of the most prestigious clinics in Miami. Married to Dr. Patricia Sampson, dermatologist. father of 2 children, John Peter, 16, and Maria Eduarda, 14. I found his Instagram, earder.maurice Sampson, 15,000 followers. The photos were what you'd imagine. Successful doctor, international trips, imported car, beach house, beautiful family. Everything very proper, very perfect. But then I started noticing something. In the recent photos, he looked different. More vain, you know? Gym, more modern clothes, toothpaste commercial smile. And there's more. He followed Valerie on Instagram, and she followed him. I went to see when this started. They started following each other about a year ago, and since then, he liked all her photos. All of them. Selfies, food pics, photos with the kids. The guy didn't miss one. But the most suspicious thing, in the comments, he was always overly polite. May God always bless you. Beautiful family. Health first. Very formal for someone sleeping with the woman, right? Then I remembered something. Valerie had problems during her last pregnancy, about 2 years ago. She was hospitalized, had some complications. At the time, Ronald wouldn't stop talking. Thank God Dr. Maurice took, good care of her. Excellent doctor, you know? Saved my family. Bingo. There was the connection. Valerie was his patient. She probably met him during treatment, and from there on, well, you already know the rest of the story. I stayed up all night browsing both their Instagrams, looking for clues. And I found several. Her photo at Lincoln Road, cultural outing. Same day, his photo at a medical meeting in South Beach. Her photo at Key Biscayne Beach, rest day. He posted the same day at the same beach. Morning run. Coincidence? I don't think so. On Friday, Ronald came back from his trip all excited. Man, I missed my house so much, and my wife, he said on the family WhatsApp. Valerie responded with heart emojis and wrote, Me too, honey. I love you so much. What a scene, right? The woman had probably spent the whole week meeting up with the doctor and still had the nerve to send heart emojis to her husband. That Friday night, I was driving through Aventura when I decided to pass by Dr. Maurice's clinic again. It was around 11 at night. Everything closed, but there was a car parked out front. A silver BMW, Florida plates. I wrote down the license plate on my phone and left. Saturday morning, I woke up with a strange feeling. It was like I knew a lot, but at the same time knew nothing. Like this. I knew who the guy was, where he worked, that he was married, but I still didn't know how it all started, how long it had been going on, if it was serious or just an affair. And especially, I still didn't know what to do with this information. Because it's one thing to suspect your sister-in-law is cheating on your brother. It's another thing to be certain, know the lover, know where they meet. Then the weight gets heavier, you know? On Sunday, there was a barbecue at my mom's house again. And this time, I paid attention to everything. Valerie arrived later than usual with a lame excuse. Sorry, everyone, I had to take my mom to the hospital. Nothing serious, just a routine checkup. But when she hugged Ronald, I noticed. She was wearing that same perfume from Saturday night. And her nails were done, hair blown out, makeup subtle but carefully applied. For a medical appointment with her mom? Yeah, right. During lunch, she was on her phone constantly. And when WhatsApp notifications came in, she'd look secretly and smile. Val, put down that phone, woman, Ronald joked. Sunday is family day. Oh, it's just the school. Mom's is group for Miguel, she lied shamelessly. After lunch, I decided to test her. So, Val, how's your health? You've been missing our barbecues. Oh, Eddie, I've been really busy, but thank God I'm well. Actually, I recently changed doctors. Found an excellent specialist, Dr. Maurice Sampson. Do you guys know him? Total nerve. The woman said her lover's name in front of her husband. Don't know him, I replied, pretending disinterest. He's a wonderful doctor. Very attentive, you know? Takes care of us with so much tenderness. Oh, I bet he takes care of you, Valerie, Ronald added. If you're happy with him, great. The important thing is to take care of yourself. Women need to have proper medical follow-ups. And she. That's right, honey. He always says that I need to take better care of myself. Value myself more. Man, I almost choked on my beer. The woman was basically telling everyone about the affair, and nobody understood anything. That night, driving home, Claire commented, Valerie looks different, doesn't she? More beautiful, happier. Must be the new doctor. Sometimes we need a professional who understands our body better. Yeah, I replied. He must understand her body really well. What did you say, Eddie? Nothing, honey. Just agreeing with you. But inside, I was boiling. Because now I knew everything. The guy's name, where he worked, how they met. how the affair started. And the worst part? I knew this wasn't going to end well. Because a married doctor with a prestigious gynecology practice doesn't leave everything to be with a married woman. And a married woman with 2 kids doesn't abandon her family to live a forbidden love. So what's left? Lies, delays, and a lot of suffering for whoever finds out. The problem was that the one who found out was me. And now I needed to decide. Was I going to keep pretending I didn't know anything, or was I going to do something? Because secrets kept are poison in the soul. And poison sooner or later kills. I thought I already knew everything, man. That I had discovered the whole scheme, understood how things worked. Dr. Maurice, gynecologist, patient who became a lover. Classic story, right? But then, Monday morning, something happened that changed everything. I was at home having coffee when Claire yelled from the living room, "Eddie, come here. There's a report on TV about famous doctors in Miami." I went over half-heartedly, thinking it was nonsense, but when I looked at the television, I almost dropped my mug on the floor. It was him, Dr. Maurice Sampson, being interviewed on the Miami Morning program. Dr. Maurice is considered one of the best gynecologists in the Miami area, the host was saying. For more than 20 years saving lives and caring for women's health in South Florida. 20 years. The man was more veteran than I imagined, but then came the bomb. "Doctor, you have a special connection with the Oliveira family, don't you? Can you tell us a little about that?" "Oliveira family? Shit, that's my family's last name." Dr. Maurice smiled on screen. "Oh yes, the Oliveira family is very special to me. I've been following them for more than 15 years. I delivered several of Mrs. Nancy's grandchildren." "Mrs. Nancy! My mom!" Man, I sat on the couch like someone who takes a punch to the stomach. The man knew my mother, had delivered babies in my family, including, he continued, "one of my dearest patients is Valerie, Ronald's wife. I followed both her deliveries, and recently she went through a delicate treatment that, thank God, turned out fine." Claire commented, "What a coincidence, Eddie. It's Valerie's doctor that you were asking about." I couldn't say anything. I just kept looking at the TV, watching that man talk about my family like he was a close friend. "He seems like such a good person," Claire continued. "Look how affectionately he talks about Valerie. Doctors like that are rare, aren't they?" If she knew about the affection he had for Valerie. After the report ended, I kept thinking about all of that. 15 years following the family. Delivered Valerie's children. Knew my mother. Then I started remembering things. Miguel, Valerie's older son, was born 10 years ago. I remember Ronald arriving at the hospital all happy. Man, what an excellent doctor. Dr. Maurice took care of everything. It was a perfect delivery. John Gabriel, the younger one, was born 6 years ago. Same thing. Dr. Maurice again. This man is an angel in our family's life, and every time Valerie had any gynecological problem, it was to him she went. Ronald always told us, my wife only trusts Dr. Maurice. Says he's the only one who really understands her. He understands, all right. But man, then I started connecting the dots in a way that gave me chills. If Dr. Maurice has been following the family for 15 years, if he delivered both of Valerie's children, if he's always been the trusted doctor. When did the relationship change from doctor-patient to something else? That afternoon, I decided to do a deeper investigation. I went to my mom's Facebook. Yes, 68-year-old Nancy has Facebook, imagine that, and looked for old photos. And man, what I found made my hair stand on end. Photo from 2015. My dad's birthday barbecue. Dr. Maurice at our house. Hugging my mom, smiling, holding a beer bottle. In the caption, "What a joy to have Dr. Maurice at home. Dear family, doctor and friend." Photo from 2017. John Gabriel's baptism. Dr. Maurice at the baptism. Not as godfather, but as special family friend. Business suit, smile on his face, talking to everyone. Photo from 2019. June festival at my mom's house. There he was again, this time dressed as a country boy, square dancing with Valerie. In the photo, they were holding hands, dancing, laughing, and I remembered that party. I was there, but at the time I didn't pay attention. Thought it was normal, you know? Family doctor, friend. Everyone dances with everyone at the June festival. But now, knowing what I know, looking at that photo, man, there's something there. The way he held her hand. The way she looked at him. The different smile on both their faces. And Ronald, he was in the photo too. In the background, talking to other men, not noticing anything. I kept searching. Photo from 2020. New Year at the beach. The whole family at Key Biscayne Beach. And guess who was there? Dr. Maurice, with his family, but clearly integrated into our group. In the photo, the families were mixed. Valerie playing with the doctor's kids, the doctor helping my mom serve food, Ronald and Dr. Maurice drinking beer and laughing together. One big, happy family. Except underneath it all, there was a bomb ready to explode. But the photo that caught my attention the most was one from 2021, Children's Day at my mom's house. Dr. Maurice playing with John Gabriel in the backyard. He was carrying the boy on his back, both laughing. And the boy was yelling, "Uncle Maurice! Uncle Maurice! Uncle Maurice!" Valerie's son called him Uncle. And then, man, a horrible idea crossed my mind. Something I didn't want to think about. But that started eating at me from the inside like a parasite. John Gabriel is 6 years old. If Valerie's affair with Dr. Maurice has been going on for about 4 years, as she mentioned in that confession at the mall, wait a minute. 4 years means it started when John Gabriel was 2 years old, after birth, during postpartum follow-up. But what if it started earlier? What if it started during pregnancy? What if? No, Eddie. Don't think about that. It can't be. But man, the more I looked at photos of John Gabriel, the more I saw something I'd never noticed before. The boy doesn't look much like Ronald. Or Valerie, for that matter. He's lighter than his parents. The eyes are different. The face shape. And when I looked at photos of young Dr. Maurice, which I'd found on Google, Jesus Christ, the resemblance was disturbing. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the possibilities, all the connections I'd discovered. Dr. Maurice wasn't just Valerie's lover. He'd been practically family for 15 years, knew everyone, was invited to parties. The kids called him Uncle. What if he wasn't just Uncle Maurice? What if he was father? Tuesday morning, I ran into Ronald at the gas station, near home. He was filling up, all happy. "Hey bro, how's the rideshare life? Getting by, Ronald. How are things at home?" "Ah man, everything's great. The family's doing well, the boys are growing. Actually today John Gabriel has an appointment with Dr. Maurice. Routine checkup, you know how it is." "Routine checkup? For what?" The doctor always follows up on the development of children he delivered. It's a special care of his. Says he likes to see his children growing up well." Children. He said children. And worse, he said it with a proud smile on his face. Man, at that moment, I felt something in my chest that I'd never felt before. It was like pity mixed with anger, mixed with desperation, because I started to realize that the situation was much more complicated than I'd imagined. It wasn't just a betrayal. It was a lie spanning years, a farce built brick by brick, appointment by appointment, party by party. And at the center of it all, there were two innocent children, who called one man dad and another uncle, not knowing that maybe it was the other way around. And there was my brother, Ronald, who talked about Dr. Maurice like he was a hero, who took his son for checkups with the man who was possibly the child's real father, who was paying to be made a fool. And me, I was in the middle of this whole madness, with a secret that could destroy not just a marriage, but an entire family. Because now it wasn't just about Valerie cheating on Ronald. Now it was about the possibility that one of the children wasn't his son. And that changed everything. After discovering this whole story about Dr. Maurice being practically family, I couldn't pretend normalcy anymore. It was like having a stone in your shoe that won't come out, you know? All week I kept chewing over those photos, those suspicions about John Gabriel, that feeling that I was sitting on a bomb ready to explode. On Friday, I couldn't take it anymore. I decided I was going to confront Valerie directly. But how? I couldn't go to her house, obviously. Couldn't call. It had to be a casual encounter. Then I remembered she always posted photos at Aventura Mall on Friday afternoons. TGIF was her pattern. I left the car at home, took a bus, so I wouldn't risk her seeing me with the rideshare car, and went to the mall. I walked around the corridors like a madman until... bingo. I saw her coming out of the nail salon, all dressed up, hair done, new clothes. She had that look of someone who had gotten ready for someone special. I pretended I was just passing by. "Valerie? What a coincidence, man." She was startled, almost dropped her purse. "Oh, Eddie, you scared me. What are you doing here?" Came to buy a present for Caleb. And you? Shopping for what?" I just came to do my nails. Nothing special, but I noticed she was nervous. Looking around, touching her hair, those classic signs of someone hiding something. "Want to grab a coffee at the food court?" I suggested. It's been a while since we talked properly. She hesitated. Oh, Eddie, I don't know if I can... I have an appointment. Just 5 minutes. We're family, right? Family. The word came out with a tone that even I found strange. We sat at a table somewhat isolated, and I ordered 2 coffees. She was restless, checking her phone constantly. Someone important? I asked, pointing to the phone. No, it's just work stuff. Work. Valerie. Hadn't worked in 8 years. I decided to get straight to the point. Valerie, can I ask you something? Sure. You've been different. More beautiful. More... I don't know. Happier. Is something good happening in your life? She blushed immediately. What do you mean, Eddie? I'm normal. Normal. Hair always done, new clothes, nails always perfect. And these outings, these appointments. Eddie, what are you trying to say? I took a deep breath. It was now or never. I'm trying to say that I saw you, Valerie. Saw me where? In my car. Saturday night. With a man who wasn't my brother. Man, it was like I'd thrown a bucket of cold water on her. Her face went white. Her hand started shaking. She almost spilled the coffee. I don't know what you're talking about. Dr. Maurice Sampson, gynecologist, clinic in Aventura. Ring a bell? Now she couldn't hide it anymore. Her eyes filled with tears. Her hands were shaking. She looked around like she wanted to run away. Eddie, for the love of God. For the love of God what, Valerie? You're cheating on my brother with the family doctor, the man who delivered your children. She started crying. And it wasn't crocodile tears. No. It was desperate crying. You don't understand. The situation is complicated. Complicated how, Valerie? Explain it to me. She looked around, saw there were people nearby, and whispered, Not here. Let's go somewhere else. We left the mall and went to the parking garage. She was sobbing, wiping her face with a tissue. We sat on a bench there in the outdoor dining area, away from everyone. And then she broke down. Eddie, I didn't want it to be like this. I swear to you, I didn't plan any of this. Didn't plan what? Falling in love with him. Falling in love. The word hung in the air like cigarette smoke. How long, Valerie? 4 years. 4 years? Girl, are you crazy? It started after John Gabriel's birth. I had postpartum depression, couldn't sleep, cried all the time. Ronald traveling constantly, working like a dog. I felt alone, abandoned. And then, Dr. Maurice called me to his office to follow up on my recovery. He was the first person who really listened to me, you know? Who cared about what I was feeling. Valerie, he helped me, Eddie. He gave me medicine for depression, talked to me, made me feel like a woman again. Ronald would just come home, eat, sleep, and travel the next day. I started to understand her side, but I was still outraged. That doesn't justify cheating. I know it's wrong. You think I don't suffer with this? That I don't feel guilty every time I look at Ronald? Then why don't you stop? She stopped crying and looked me in the eyes. Because I love him, Eddie. I love Maurice. And Ronald is my husband. Father of my children. I care about him, but you don't love him anymore. Not like I should. We sat in silence for a few minutes. Her crying, softly. Me trying to process all of that. Then I decided to ask the question that was eating at me. Valerie. John Gabriel. Whose son is he? She stopped crying immediately. She was paralyzed, looking at me with total panic. What do you mean? You understood me. The boy looks like Dr. Maurice, and if your relationship started 4 years ago when he was 2... Eddie, no. Answer, Valerie. Is the boy Ronald's son or the doctor's? She started crying again, but this time it was desperate crying from someone who has no escape. I don't know. How do you not know? I was with both at the same time. Ronald would travel, but when he came back... And Maurice, we started meeting when John Gabriel was about 8 months old. It was gradual. First just talking, then... Valerie, for God's sake. I never did a DNA test. Never wanted to know. I prefer to believe he's Ronald's son. Prefer to believe? Girl, you're playing with everyone's lives. And what do you want me to do now, Eddie? Tell Ronald everything? Destroy my family? Your family is already destroyed, Valerie. You just don't know it yet. She got up from the bench. Eddie, I'm begging you, for the love you have for your nephews, don't tell anyone. What if John Gabriel is the doctor's son? What if Ronald is raising another man's child thinking it's his? Then it's better he keeps not knowing. At least that way everyone stays happy. Everyone except me, who has to carry this secret. Please, Eddie, please. She knelt in front of me right there, in the mall plaza, crying like crazy. I'll break up with Maurice, I promise. I'll cut off contact, I'll change doctors. Just don't tell Ronald. Man, seeing my sister-in-law on her knees, begging, was one of the saddest scenes of my life. Even knowing she was wrong, I felt sorry for her. Get up, Valerie, stop this. Do you promise you won't tell? I looked at her. Hair messed up, makeup smeared, clothes wrinkled, and thought about the whole family. Ronald working like a dog, John Gabriel playing with Uncle Maurice, Miguel thinking his mom was a saint. I won't tell anything, I said. But with one condition. Anything. You're going to break up with this man. Today. Now. And you're never going to see him again. I promise. And if I find out you guys kept seeing each other, we won't. It's over, Eddie, I swear to God. But man, even with her promising, even with her crying, even with her seeming repentant, I knew that promise wasn't going to last long. Because someone who truly loves can't stop loving from one moment to the next. And someone who's been lying for 4 years doesn't become a saint overnight. But at that moment, seeing her there broken, I wanted to believe. Wanted to believe she was going to keep her promise. Wanted to believe everything would go back to normal. What an illusion, right, man? If I had known what was going to happen in the next few weeks, I would have resolved everything right there in that mall. But sometimes we try to be nice and end up being suckers. After that conversation at the mall, I was calmer for a few days, thinking I had solved the problem. Valerie had promised to break up with Dr. Maurice, had sworn she would cut off contact, and I, naive, believed her. But man, 3 days later, I was driving through Aventura when I saw a familiar silver BMW leaving the doctor's clinic, and there was someone in the passenger seat. I slowed down to be sure, and it was her, Valerie, leaving the clinic at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. Medical appointment, right? Yeah, right. At that moment, I realized 2 things. First, that she had lied to me. Second, that I was more of a sucker than I imagined. But then I thought, hold on, Eddie. Before you start accusing the girl, maybe she's really trying to end it. Maybe it was a goodbye appointment. I decided to play detective again. During the rest of the week, I kept observing her behavior on social media. Tuesday, blessed day, thankful to God. Wednesday, family is everything. Photo with the kids. Thursday, reflections. Sometimes we need to make difficult choices. Friday, weekends here. TGF? Difficult choices? Interesting. On Saturday, there was a barbecue at my mom's house again. I went somewhat tense, wanting to observe how Valerie was going to behave after our conversation. She arrived punctually, with Ronald and the boys, greeted everyone normally, but when she got to me, "Hi, Eddie, how are you?" And she gave me that look. You know that look of, you're not going to say anything, right? Fine, sister-in-law. How are things? Oh, everything's normal. Same old hustle. During the barbecue, I noticed she was different indeed. More attached to Ronald, more affectionate with him. She kept holding his hand, kissing his face, stroking his hair. "Look at that. How romantic," my mom commented. 8 years married and still dating, Valerie smiled. "That's right, Mrs. Nancy. True love is like that. True love." What a joke. After lunch, the men stayed by the grill talking. And then, man, Ronald started saying things that made my heart sink. "You know, bro, I've been worried about Valerie." "Why?" "She's been acting strange. More affectionate, you know? More clingy. I can't explain it." My cousin Bobby, who was with us, laughed. "Man, you're complaining about your wife being affectionate? What a problem." "It's not that," Ronald continued. "It's just, I don't know, it seems forced. Like she's making an effort to be like that. Forced." The word kept echoing in my head. "And another thing," he continued. "She changed doctors out of nowhere. Said she didn't want to see Dr. Maurice anymore." I almost spit out my beer. Changed doctors? Why? Don't know. Said she wanted a change, a new medical opinion. But I thought it was strange, you know? The guy's been following her for years, knows her whole history. Bobby commented. "Sometimes women want a younger, more handsome doctor." And he laughed. Ronald didn't find it funny. Could be. But she always praised Dr. Maurice so much. Said he was the best doctor she'd ever known. And now she doesn't talk about him anymore? I asked. Nothing. It's like the man died. Last week I mentioned I was going to make an appointment with him for myself, and she got all nervous. Why, Ronald? There are so many good doctors in Miami. Interesting. Later, when Valerie was in the kitchen helping the women, I took the opportunity to dig more with Ronald. "How are things at work? Still traveling a lot? Too much, man. This week I have to go to Atlanta, meeting with the corporate guys. I'll be away for a week. And Valerie doesn't complain? Man, before she used to complain, but lately, I don't know. She's more understanding. She even encourages me. Go, honey, focus on work. I'll be fine here with the boys. More understanding. Or more relieved to have free time. Then Ronald lowered his voice. Can I tell you something? But keep it between us. Sure, I've been suspicious that Valerie has someone. My blood froze. What do you mean? Ah, man. A married woman doesn't change that much out of nowhere. She's been too different. More vain, more careful about her appearance, and this thing about being more affectionate with me could be guilt, you know? Do you have any proof? No. It's more of a feeling. Husbands sense these things, you know? Ronald took a sip of beer and continued. You know what the worst part is, Eddie? What? John Gabriel. My stomach churned. What about John Gabriel? The boy doesn't look like me. Never has. I always thought it was strange. But I trusted Valerie. Now I'm thinking, is he really my son? Ronald, I'm going to do a DNA test on both boys, because if I find out that besides cheating on me, she made me raise another man's child. He didn't finish the sentence, but shook his head in a way that scared me. And there's one more thing, he continued. She's pregnant. How did he know? Pregnant? Found out yesterday. She bought a pharmacy test, left the little package in the bathroom. Must have thought I wouldn't notice. Man. The situation was getting completely out of control. And then I'm going to find out if this baby is mine too. Because if it's not, what? Ronald looked me in the eyes. If it's not, Eddie, I swear on our father's soul, I'll destroy them both. The way he said it gave me chills. It wasn't a threat. It was a promise. Ronald, calm down. Calm down? Calm down? Bro, you don't understand. I work like a dog. I'm away from home for weeks. All to give the best to my family, and the bitch has been making me an idiot with the doctor for years. He got up from the bench. Tonight I'm going to resolve this, once and for all. What are you going to do? I'm going to confront her, show her the photos, and demand that she tell me everything. How many children are really mine, how long this has been going on, everything. And after I'll see what I do with Dr. Maurice Sampson. He paid for the beers and left, leaving me there alone, with my heart in my throat. Man, at that moment I realized the time for decision had come. Because Ronald was going to confront Valerie that night. She was going to have to tell everything. And when she did, the family was going to explode. And I, who could have prevented all this at the beginning, could now only watch the circus catch fire. Because sometimes, when you stay on the fence too long, the fence collapses. And it collapses on top of everyone. When Valerie told me she was pregnant, I swear I thought I was going to have a stroke. I stopped the car right there on I-95, with cars honking behind me, and just stared at her without being able to say anything. Eddie, are you okay? She asked. Okay? Okay? Valerie, are you kidding me? First you promise me you're going to break up with the man, then I find out you guys are still seeing each other. Now you come tell me you're pregnant without knowing who the father is. I didn't plan this. Of course you didn't plan it. You don't plan anything. You just do things and leave the bomb for others to deal with. She started crying again. So what now? What am I going to do? How am I going to explain this to Ronald? Explain what? Aren't you sleeping with your husband too? I am, but very little. He's been traveling so much. Valerie, stop making excuses. You created this situation, now deal with it. But man, seeing her there in the back seat, crying, desperate, I felt a mixture of anger and pity that almost drove me crazy. How many months are you? The test came back positive last week. Must be about 3 weeks. And when was the last time you guys, Ronald came back from his last trip 2 weeks ago? And with Morris it was last week too. Jesus Christ, Valerie. I know it's wrong. I know, but I can't stop, Eddie. I love him. Love him so much you're going to destroy the whole family because of it? I sat there stopped in traffic, thinking about the whole madness. 3 children who might not be my brother. Ronald suspecting something. Dr. Morris playing happy family. Valerie, listen carefully to what I'm going to tell you. You're going to have to choose. Either you break up with this doctor for good and accept that the baby is Ronald's, or you tell him everything and accept the consequences. I can't tell him. He'll kill me. Then stop seeing the doctor. But Eddie, nothing. Enough. I can't carry this bomb anymore. Then she stopped crying and looked at me seriously. Are you going to tell him? I don't know anymore, Valerie. I don't know anymore. And it was true. Because the situation had gone beyond all limits. It wasn't just a little affair, a little slip-up. It was a complete farce with children involved, pregnancy, lie upon lie. I dropped her off in Aventura and went home with my head boiling. Claire noticed I was agitated. "Eddie, what's that face?" "Nothing, honey. Just tired." "Tired nothing! You look like you've seen a ghost." If she knew I'd seen something worse than a ghost, that night, I couldn't sleep a wink. I kept thinking about Ronald, working like a dog, planning his children's future, happy because he was going to be a father again, not knowing he might be raising 3 children who weren't his. And I thought about Dr. Maurice, pretending to be a family friend, participating in barbecues, being called uncle by the children, knowing that at least one of them might be his son. And I thought about the boys, especially John Gabriel, playing innocently, not knowing he lived in a house of lies. The next morning, I got a call that made me even more nervous. "Eddie, it's Ronald." "Hey bro, what's up?" "Man, I need to talk to you. Can you meet me at Joe's bar there in Hialeah?" "When?" "Now. It's urgent." "Urgent?" My heart raced. Had he found out something? I got to the bar and found Ronald with a face I'd never seen. Serious, worried, with an envelope in his hand. "Sit down, man. Order a beer." "What's that envelope?" "I'll show you later. First answer me something. Have you noticed Valerie acting strange?" "Shit. Here comes the bomb." "Strange how?" "I don't know. Different. More affectionate, more careful about her appearance." "Ronald, where are you going with this?" He opened the envelope and took out some photos. Printed photos, old school style. "Yesterday, I hired a private detective." "Fuck. Detective? Ronald, what madness is this?" "It's not madness, Eddie. It's necessary. Look at these photos." And he showed me. It was Valerie leaving Dr. Maurice's clinic, getting into his BMW, the 2 of them talking at a diner, and the worst of all, the 2 of them kissing in a motel parking lot on I-95. Ronald, 3 months the guy was investigating, Eddie. 3 months. And look what he discovered. He showed me more photos, a detailed report, times, places, everything documented. She's been cheating on me for years, man. Years. With the family doctor, the man who delivered my children. I didn't know what to say, because I knew all of this but couldn't admit it. "What are you going to do?" "First, I'm going to confront her. Tonight." "Ronald, think. Carefully." "Think about what?" "About the bitch who's been making me a fool for 4 years?" 4 years. He knew exactly when it started. "And after I'm going after Dr. Maurice Sampson, and I'm going to destroy his professional life." The tone of my brother's voice gave me chills. He was serious. "Ronald, don't do anything stupid." "Stupid? The stupid thing was done by her. And the bastard who took advantage of the family's trust." He put the photos back in the envelope. "You know, what pisses me off the most, Eddie?" "What?" "John Gabriel." My stomach turned. "What about John Gabriel? The boy doesn't look like me, never has. I always thought it was strange, but I believed Valerie. Now I'm thinking, is he really my son?" "Ronald, I'm going to do DNA tests on both boys, because if I find out that besides cheating on me, she made me raise another man's child." He didn't finish the sentence, but shook his head in a way that scared me. "And there's one more thing," he continued. "She's pregnant." How did he know? Pregnant? I found out yesterday. She bought a pharmacy test, left the wrapper in the bathroom. Must have thought I wouldn't notice. Man, the situation was completely out of control. And then I'm going to find out if this baby is mine too. Because if it's not, what? Ronald looked me in the eyes. "If it's not, Eddie, I swear on our father's soul, I'll destroy them both." The way he said it gave me chills. It wasn't a threat. It was a promise. "Ronald, calm down." "Calm down? Calm down? Man, you don't understand. I work like a dog. I'm away from home for weeks, all to give the best to my family, and the bitch has been making me an idiot with the doctor for years." He got up from the bench. "Tonight, I'm going to resolve this, once and for all." "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to confront her, show her the photos, and demand that she tell me everything. How many children are really mine? How long this has been going on? Everything. And after, I'll see what I do with Dr. Maurice Sampson." He paid for the beers and left, leaving me there alone, with my heart in my throat. Man, at that moment I realized the time for decision had come, because Ronald was going to confront Valerie that night. She was going to have to tell everything. And when she did, the family was going to explode. And I, who could have prevented all this at the beginning, could now only watch the circus catch fire. Because sometimes when you stay on the fence too long, the fence collapses, and it collapses on top of everyone. Man, when I left that bar after talking to Ronald, I was like a madman on the street. Legs shaking, cold sweat, heart beating like it was going to jump out of my mouth. Because now it wasn't just me knowing the secret, right? Ronald had hired a detective, had photos, knew everything, and more. He was going to confront Valerie that very night. My God, I thought, driving home. The house is going to fall today. When I got to Hialeah, it was almost 4 in the afternoon. Claire was in the kitchen preparing dinner for the boys, and when she saw me come in, "Eddie, what's that face? You look like you've seen the devil." It's just that I'm feeling a bit under the weather. I lied, trying to disguise it. Under the weather, nothing. You're white as a sheet. Sit there, I'll make you some tea. I sat at the kitchen table, trying to organize my thoughts, because I knew that in a few hours there at my brother's house, hell was going to break loose. And I also knew that when that happened, I wouldn't be able to pretend surprise, because I'd known everything for weeks. Claire served the tea and sat next to me. "Eddie, you've been acting very weird. Ever since that day you came back strange from the barbecue? What's going on?" "Nothing, honey. Just work stuff. Work, that's all you talk about. But I've known you for 10 years. Eddie Oliveira. When you get like this, it's because there's something heavy on your mind." She was right. Claire always had that sixth sense, you know? Women notice when their husband is different. That night, during dinner, I could barely eat. The boys telling stories from school, Claire trying to make conversation, and me there, glued to my phone, waiting for some news. Would Ronald have gotten home already? Would he have already shown the photos to Valerie? How was she going to react? Around 9 at night, the phone rang. It was Ronald. "Bro, I need you to come here." His voice was strange, too controlled. "What happened?" "I talked to her. Come here." And he hung up. Claire noticed my distress. "Who was it?" "Ronald. He wants me to go there." "At this hour?" "Why?" "He didn't say. Must be something work-related." Another lie. Man, I was lying so much to my wife I didn't know what was true anymore. When I got to Ronald's house there in Hialeah, 3 blocks from mine, I saw the situation was tense. The living room lights were on, but the house was too quiet. I rang the doorbell. Ronald opened the door with a face I'd never seen. Not anger, not sadness. It was like a mixture of disappointment and relief. "Come in." The living room was a mess. Cushions on the floor, magazines scattered, a broken glass near the TV. "Where's Valerie?" "Locked in the bedroom. Been crying for 2 hours." "And the boys?" "I took them to my mother-in-law's before talking to her. Said their mom wasn't feeling well." Pure wisdom. At least the kids didn't witness the bomb exploding. Ronald threw himself on the couch. "I showed her the photos, Eddie, and then first she tried to deny it, said it was lies, that it was a setup. Then I showed more photos. The whole sequence. Her leaving his clinic, getting in the car, the 2 of them at the motel. And then she confessed? She confessed everything, man. Everything. Said she's loved the bastard for 4 years. That it started when she had postpartum depression." He rubbed his face. "You know what the worst part is?" "What?" "She said she tried to break up with him several times, but couldn't. And that now she's pregnant again." "Pregnant by the doctor?" "She doesn't know. Could be mine, could be his." What a joke, right, Eddie? My own wife doesn't know whose child she's carrying. The revolt in his voice gave me chills. "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to kick her out of the house. Tomorrow. She goes back to her mother's house in Jacksonville, and we'll settle the divorce through lawyers. And the boys? I'm going to do DNA tests on both. Especially John Gabriel. Because now, looking at photos of him as a baby next to Dr. Maurice, man, the resemblance is striking." We stayed there talking until almost midnight. Ronald venting, telling the details of the conversation with Valerie, planning the next steps. And me there, pretending I was hearing everything for the first time. When I got home, Claire was awake, waiting. "So? What did Ronald want?" "Family problem. Valerie, she's cheating on him." It was the first time I said it out loud, and it was like a weight lifted off my chest. Claire jumped out of bed. "What?" "Yeah, they found out today. She's been having an affair with another man for years." "My God! And the boys? They're at their grandmother's. Ronald is going to kick her out of the house." Claire was speechless for a few seconds. Then, "Eddie, how do you know all this?" Shit, dangerous question. "Ronald told me. Said he hired a detective, found out everything." "But you're not surprised." "What do you mean?" "You're not surprised, Eddie. You're talking like you already knew." My heart raced. Claire was too smart. "Of course I'm surprised. How could I expect something like this?" She looked at me with that look of someone who didn't believe anything. "Eddie, tell me the truth. Did you already know about this? Claire. Answer. Did you know Valerie was cheating on Ronald? And then, man, I couldn't take it anymore. The weight of weeks carrying that secret, the pressure, the lies, everything came out at once. I knew. How did you know? I saw her in my car with another man. Claire was paralyzed. In your car? A ride, late night, couple going to a hotel. When she spoke, I recognized the voice. It was Valerie. And you didn't tell me anything? I tried. I talked to her. She promised she was going to end it. Eddie, you hid this from me? And then started the biggest fight of our married life. Claire screaming that I was a liar, that she didn't trust me anymore. How could I hide something like this from her? Me trying to explain that I didn't know what to do, that I wanted to protect the family, that I was afraid of destroying everything. The argument lasted all night. And in the end, she said something that marked me. Eddie, if you were capable of hiding this from me, what else are you hiding from me? The next morning, the house was like a funeral. Claire barely spoke to me. The boys noticed the tension, and I felt like the worst husband in the world. And then, on Sunday, what I feared most happened. It was barbecue day at my mom's house. Traditionally, the whole family got together. Me, Claire, and the boys, Ronald with Valerie and the kids, my cousins, sisters-in-law. Only this time, Valerie wasn't going to show up. Ronald had kicked her out of the house Saturday morning. When we got to my mom's house, there was already a strange atmosphere in the air. Everyone knew something had happened, but nobody knew exactly what. Ronald was there, alone with the boys, looking terrible. My mom all worried. Son, where's Valerie? Is she sick? No, Mom. Valerie and we separated. The barbecue stopped. Everyone looked at him. What do you mean separated? I'll explain later, Mom. Not now, but man, family is like ants. When one finds sugar, they all show up. My aunt, Marlene, always nosy, started pressing. Ronald, what kind of story is this? You guys seem so good. Aunt, please. Was it an argument? These couple things can be resolved by talking? And then Claire, who had been angry with me since the night before, blurted out, "It wasn't an argument, Aunt Marlene. Valerie was cheating on him." Boom! The bomb exploded. Total silence. Everyone stopped eating. The kids stopped playing. Even my mom's dog stopped barking. Ronald looked at me with a face like, "Why did your wife say that?" I looked at Claire with a face like, "Why did you open your mouth?" And my mom, Nancy, 68 years old, sat in a chair and asked, "Cheating with whom?" Then started the biggest commotion our family had ever seen. Everyone talking at the same time. Cheating? Valerie? But she was so religious, posted Bible verses every day. Who was she messing around with? And Claire, angry with me, unloaded everything. With the family doctor, Dr. Maurice. Eddie saw her in his car, making out. Man, at that moment I wanted to bury my head in the ground like an ostrich. Because now it wasn't just my secret anymore. It wasn't just Ronald's secret. The whole family knew. My cousin, Joanna, Dr. Maurice, the one who delivered John Gabriel, Aunt Marlene, the one who came to our barbecues, my mom, the married man who has children. And Ronald, seeing there was no way out, confirmed everything. Yes, she confessed yesterday. 4 years of cheating. And now she's pregnant, not knowing if it's my child or his. Man, it was total chaos. My mom started crying. My God, what shame! And the children! Ronald, John Gabriel might not be my son, Mom. I'm going to do DNA. All the family women horrified, the men outraged, everyone giving opinions at the same time. And in the middle of all this madness, a car arrived at the door. It was Valerie, alone, wearing sunglasses, simple clothes, looking like she'd cried all night. When she opened the gate and saw the whole family gathered in the backyard, she immediately realized the bomb had exploded. "Hi, everyone," she said with a choked voice. Total silence again. My mom stood up. "Valerie, is what Ronald is saying true?" Valerie looked at everyone. At me, who lowered my head in shame. At Claire, who glared at her. At Ronald, who turned his face away. At the children, who didn't understand anything and started crying. "It's true, Mrs. Nancy. It's all true." Done. Now it was official. Aunt Marlene exploded. "Valerie, how could you? Ronald working like a dog and you screwing around with another man. Aunt, it wasn't like that. It wasn't how. Were you cheating or not?" "I was, but nothing. You destroyed this family." And then started the biggest family fight I'd ever seen in my life. Everyone screaming at the same time. Ronald yelling that she was a liar, that for 4 years she'd been making him an idiot. Valerie crying, trying to explain that it hadn't been planned, that she fell in love. My mom screaming that it was a disgrace, how she was going to face the neighbors. The sisters-in-law all giving opinions, condemning, judging. The men wanting to know who the bastard was who had done this, and the children, poor things, in the middle of that hell, not understanding anything, just seeing the adults screaming. That's when Ronald exploded completely. Enough! Enough of this bullshit! Everyone stopped. He pointed his finger at Valerie. You have 5 minutes to get out of here, and I don't want to see your face in this house ever again. Never again! Ronald, please. Never again, Valerie. You destroyed our family. You ruined everything. Then he looked at the kids. Miguel, John Gabriel, let's go. You're not going to see this woman anymore. Dad, why is Mommy crying? Miguel asked. Because your mother did something very ugly, and now she's going away. Valerie knelt in front of the children. My children, Mommy loves you. Mommy will always love you. Let go of them! Ronald screamed. Don't touch my children anymore. Ronald, they're my children too. Are they? Are you sure? Because I'm not sure of anything anymore. And that's when she dropped the worst bomb of all. Ronald, I'm pregnant. The silence was sepulchral. Pregnant by whom? He asked, with a voice that was scary. I don't know. You don't know. Could be yours. Could be his. Man, at that moment, Ronald became like a mad bull. Red. Eyes, neck, veins bulging, hands shaking. You whore! You bitch! And he lunged at her. Me and my cousins had to hold him back. Calm down, Ronald. Calm down. Let me go. Let me go so I can finish her. Valerie ran away, crying, screaming that she'd call me later, that she needed to talk to me. The barbecue became a funeral. Nobody could eat anymore. The children crying, my mom feeling sick, and me there, in the middle of everything, knowing that a big part of the blame was mine. Because if I had told everything at the beginning, if I had stayed quiet until the end, if I had made any different decision, maybe that explosion wouldn't have happened that way. But there's no point thinking about what could have been, right, man? The damage was done. The family was shattered. And from that Sunday on, nothing would ever be the same. Because there are certain bombs that when they explode, nothing's left whole to fix. And our family had exploded for good. 6 months later, man, if someone had told me that Sunday barbecue was going to destroy our entire family, I would have laughed in their face. But look where we ended up. I'm here, 3 in the morning on a Friday, driving through the empty streets of Miami, alone in this Sentra that's now the only thing I have left in life, living in a rented room in Hialeah, sharing a bathroom with 3 other tenants, eating ramen noodles every single day. This is my reality now. You know where the real disaster we started? That Sunday, after the bomb exploded at my mom's barbecue. Because then, man, it was just downhill for everyone. Let me tell you how each person ended up. Valerie, the poor thing. And look, I'm calling her poor thing after everything she did. Couldn't handle the pressure. 3 days after that family explosion, she got on a Greyhound bus and took off to New York, to a distant cousin's house. Ronald didn't even try to stop her. On the contrary. Great. The farther away, the better. She had the baby there in New York, alone. A girl, and you know what name she gave her? Hope. What irony, right? From the last contacts we had, because my mom, poor thing, even with all her anger, still feels sorry for the situation. Valerie is working as a house cleaner up in New York, lives in a boarding house, raising her daughter alone, and has no contact with her other 2 children. Ronald cut her off completely, changed his number, blocked her on everything, told the boys their mother had died. Cruel? Maybe. But after what happened, nobody could blame him. Unnailed. My brother became a different person, man. Completely different. The DNA result was devastating. John Gabriel wasn't his son. Confirmed what we already suspected. The boy was Dr. Maurice's son. When the result came out, Ronald sat at the kitchen table and cried like a child. I'd never seen my brother cry since we were kids. 6 years, Eddie. 6 years I raised this boy thinking he was my son. I taught him to walk, to say daddy, took him to the doctor when he was sick. And the bastard doctor knew. The whole time he knew. The saddest part is that John Gabriel doesn't understand anything. To the boy, Ronald has always been and always will be his father. But Ronald can't look at the child anymore without remembering the betrayal. He got custody of both boys, obviously. The judge didn't hesitate, with all the evidence of adultery and abandonment. But raising 2 children alone, working like a dog, Miguel, poor kid, at 12 now, became the little man of the house, takes care of his younger brother when dad travels, cooks, helps with chores, lost his childhood completely. And the worst part, Ronald drinks every day, comes home from work and goes straight to beer. Weekends, it's straight whiskey. He's trying to drown his sorrow in alcohol. Dr. Maurice. That guy got screwed too and serves him right. Because 3 days after that explosion at the barbecue, my cousin Joanna, who was always a gossip, went straight to his clinic and told the secretary everything. That he was having an affair with a married patient, that he had a child with her, that he was destroying families. The news reached his wife the same day. Dr. Patricia, the dermatologist, an elegant, successful woman, mother of 2 teenagers. Imagine the shock when she found out her husband wasn't just cheating on her, but had gotten another woman pregnant. The divorce was quick and brutal. She kept the house, half the clinic, child support, and more. She spread the story throughout the entire Miami medical circle. In 2 months, Dr. Maurice lost 70% of his patients. Who's going to see a doctor who has no character, right? Especially married women, who were his main clientele. Today, he sees patients in a crappy office in Little Haiti, making 1/10 of what he made before. And his children, who were teenagers, don't talk to him anymore. I heard he tried to contact Valerie in New York to take responsibility for the daughter, but she didn't want to talk. Said he had already destroyed enough families. Claire. Ah, man, Claire, my ex-wife. This was the one that hurt me the most because I didn't expect it. After that Sunday, she couldn't forgive me anymore. Not for Valerie's betrayal, but for lying to her for weeks. Eddie, if you were capable of hiding this from me, how many other things don't you hide from me? How am I going to trust you again? I tried to explain, beg, show that I just wanted to protect the family. Nothing worked. Protect the family? You helped destroy it. In March, she filed for separation. She kept the house, which was in both our names, kept the children, which was right, and I was left with this rented room and this old car to work with. The boys visit me every other weekend. But it's not the same anymore, you know? They notice that Daddy is different, sadder, quieter. Claire found a new boyfriend. A store salesman, hard-working guy who's already hanging around my old house, playing with my children, and me here, alone, cruising the city at dawn. My mom, Nancy, poor mom, was the one who suffered most from this whole story. Nancy, 68 years old, who had always been the center of the family, who organized the barbecues, who kept everyone together, suddenly saw everything crumble. First was the disappointment with Valerie, who she treated like a daughter. Then was seeing her 2 grown sons falling out. And lastly, my separation from Claire, who she loved like a daughter-in-law. In April, she had a stroke. Mild, thank God, but the doctor was clear. It was emotional stress. You need tranquility. Tranquility. With the family shattered? Today she lives in a nursing home here in Miami. Not because she needs to, but because she can't stand being alone in that house full of memories of Sunday barbecues. When I visit her, once a week, religiously, she always asks the same thing. When are you boys gonna make up? And me and Ron, the worst part of all, my brother blames me for everything that happened. In his mind, if I had stayed quiet from the beginning, none of this would have happened. Valerie would have continued cheating and family would be intact. Eddie, why didn't you mind your own business? Why did you have to get involved? Now look what our lives have been. I tried to explain that I had no choice, that I couldn't carry that secret anymore, that I thought I was doing the right thing. The right thing? The right thing was for you to shut your mouth. Now I'm raising 2 boys alone, one who isn't even my son, drunk every day to be able to sleep. Is this right to you? The last time we spoke was 2 months ago, at the hospital door when our mom had the stroke. He looked at me with a hatred that hurt my soul. If our mother dies because of all this stress, I'll never forgive you, Eddie. Never. And he turned his eye back. Since then, we avoid each other. When we need to resolve something about Mom, we talk through lawyers. Like we're strangers. My current life and me here, man. Driving rideshare Sunday to Sunday, from 7 at night to 6 in the morning. Because during the day, I can't work. During the day, I keep remembering everything that happened. Everything I could have done differently. At night is better. The dark streets, the radio low, passengers who don't know me and don't know my story. Sometimes I pick up rides that remind me of that damn Saturday night. Couple going to a motel, people making out in the back seat, and I think, should I say something? Could this be someone's relative? But then I remember what happened last time, and I stay quiet. I learned that sometimes silence is worth more than 1,000 truths, because the truth, man, everyone says the truth sets you free. What a lie. The truth destroys. The truth breaks families in half. The truth leaves children without mothers, men without wives, brother without brother. If I could go back in time, I swear to God, I would have stayed quiet. Let Valerie continue with her charade. Let Ronald live in ignorance. Let everyone pretend they were a happy family. Because even being a lie, everyone was better off than they are now. The rear-view mirror. It's 3:30 in the morning. I just dropped off a couple at the hotel in Aventura. The same hotel where I dropped off Valerie and Dr. Maurice that cursed. Night. I'm here parked in the lot, looking at the car's rear-view mirror. And you know what I see? I don't see anything anymore. Before, when I looked in the rear-view mirror, I saw my whole family. My wife and children in the back seat, coming back from Grandma's barbecue. Ronald and Valerie with the boys, everyone talking, laughing. Now I only see the empty seat, and a 38-year-old man who thought he was doing the right thing, but who actually helped destroy everything he loved most in life. You know what the worst part of all this is? I still don't know if I did right or wrong, because on one hand, Valerie was lying for years. Ronald deserved to know the truth. The children deserved to grow up in a real family, not a farce. But on the other hand, look at the result. John Gabriel growing up thinking his father doesn't like him. Miguel becoming an adult at 12. Valerie raising a daughter alone in New York. Ronald killing himself working and drinking. Our mom in a nursing home with a broken heart. And me here, alone, cruising Miami at dawn, carrying in my conscience the weight of having been the trigger for all of this. Sometimes I stop the car on a deserted street, look at Miami's starry sky, and ask the question that won't go away. Wouldn't silence have been better? But then I remember that Saturday dawn, when I saw my sister-in-law in the back seat of my car, kissing another man, and I realize I really had no choice. Because there are secrets that are too small to carry, and there are secrets that are too big. Mine was too big. And when a secret is too big, sooner or later it explodes. The difference is that I chose when and how it was going to explode. Was it worth it? Man, tough question. Today, driving alone through these streets with the family shattered and everyone suffering, I honestly don't know. I only know that sometimes, in life, we have to choose between lies that keep people happy and truths that destroy everything. And I chose the truth. Now I'll have to live forever with the consequences of that choice. I step on the gas and leave the parking lot. It's almost 4 in the morning. I still have 2 hours of work ahead. On the radio plays a sad song. In the back seat, only emptiness. And in the rearview mirror, I see what's left of a man who once had a family. Sometimes silence is worth more than 1,000 truths. If I had known that before, but now it's too late.